Many talk about success. Few chase it, even few are live it. But I became it. I did not wait for greatness. I did not wish for it. I hunted. It fought for it. Bled for it. My body was my weapon. My mind was my master. And my time was my most sacred tool. I did not live like others because I did not want to be like them. I wanted to be limitless. Now, listen closely. Let me show you the way. Imagine a fire in the wild. It does not stay in one place. It moves, grows, and spreads. If the wind blows against it, it does not stop. It shifts direction, finds new fuel, and keeps burning. If someone tries to smother it, it searches for air and rises again. This is how you must live. Many people trap themselves inside their own thinking. They follow the same routine, use the same methods, and when something blocks their path, they freeze, they complain, they make excuses. But those who succeed are like fire. They find another way. If one door closes, they break through another. If one approach fails, they create a new one. They never stop moving, never stop growing, never stop burning with purpose. I never let myself be limited by one way. I studied every technique, every philosophy, every strategy that could make me stronger. I learned from boxers, fencers, wrestlers, and traditional martial artists. If something worked, I used it. If something was useless, I let it go. My goal was not to be the best in one style. It was to be the best, period. Life will not always go as you expect. You will face obstacles, setbacks, and moments where you feel stuck. But if you are like fire, nothing can hold you. If one path is blocked, find another. If a plan fails, adjust and attack from a different angle. If you fall, rise again, stronger than before. Those who refuse to change will be left behind. Those who adapt will rise. You must choose. Will you be stuck in place, or will you burn through every limit in your way? Your body is strong, but it is nothing without the mind. Muscles can be trained. Reflexes can be sharpened. But without a disciplined mind, you will never reach your true potential. The body obeys what the mind commands. If your mind is weak, your body will follow. If your mind is strong, you become unstoppable. Most people think their limits are physical. They say, I'm too tired. I can't go on. I've done enough. But the truth is, it's not their body that is failing. It's their mind that has given up. The body can endure far more than we think. But the mind is what holds us back. Pain is not your enemy. It is a test when your legs burn from running, when your arms shake from punching, when exhaustion whispers stop. That is the moment you must push forward. That is the moment where champions are made. Most people quit when they feel discomfort. But those who master their minds push past that point. That is where true strength begins. I trained my mind just as much as my body when I could not move. I visualized every movement in my head, each punch, each kick, every technique, repeated over and over in my mind. I wrote down my thoughts, my philosophies, my training strategies, because I am odd that mastery begins in the mind. Before it reaches the body, fear, doubt, and hesitation are the enemies of progress. They whisper in your ear, telling you that you are not good enough, that you will fail, that you are not ready. But these are only illusions. Fear is not real. It is a product of the mind. If you believe you are weak, you will be weak. If you believe you are strong, you will find strength you never knew existed. When I faced setbacks, I did not see them as failures. I saw them as lessons. When I injured my back and was told I might never fight again, I did not give up. I trained my mind instead. I studied. I wrote. I planned my return. My body may have been weak, but my mind grew stronger. And when my body healed, I was more powerful than ever before. Most people live as prisoners of their own thoughts. They tell themselves they are not talented enough, Not smart enough, not strong enough. They put walls around their potential, and then they wonder why. They never succeed. But the truth is, the only real limits are the ones you accept control your thoughts, and you control your reality. Train your mind as hard as you train your body. See yourself succeeding before you even take action. When you feel tired, remind yourself that you still have more to give. When fear tries to stop you, confront it head on. When you think you have reached your limit, go further. The mind can either be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. It can push you forward or hold you back. The choice is yours. Will you master your mind, or will you let it master you? Most people live inside invisible cages. They are not trapped by walls or locked doors, but by something far stronger, their own beliefs. They tell themselves, I can't do this. I wasn't born for greatness. This is too difficult. These thoughts become chains, and those chains hold them back from ever realizing their true potential. But I tell you this, there are no limits. There are no weaknesses you refuse to break. I was told I would never succeed in Hollywood. I was told my martial arts style was wrong. I was told my body was too small. My background was a disadvantage. My dreams were unrealistic. But I did not accept those limits. I did not listen, because I understood something most people do. Not limits are not real. They exist only in the mind. When you believe something is impossible, you make it impossible. When you convince yourself that you are not capable, you ensure your own failure. But when you refuse to accept limitations, you force yourself to grow. You push past what you thought was possible, and you discover a strength that was always there, waiting to be unleashed. Look at the strongest tree. If it only grows in good weather, if it only reaches upward when the sun shines, it will not survive the storm. But the tree that grows through harsh winds, through heavy rains, through every challenge, that is the tree that stands unshaken. That is the tree that grows taller than all the others. This is how you must train. This is how you must live. I did not become who I was by staying in my comfort zone. I did not stop when I was tired, when I was in pain, when others told me to slow down. Instead, I asked myself, how much further can I go? If I train for an hour, I trained for an hour. I trained for 2. If I mastered one technique, I created a new one. Limits are just weaknesses that have not yet been destroyed. If your body is weak, train harder. If your mind is weak, sharpen it. If your skills are lacking, practice until they are flawless. Every weakness is an opportunity to grow. If you have the courage to face it, do not let the world tell you what you cannot do. You cannot do. Do not let society decide how far you can go. Do not let your own doubts dictate your future. There is no force more powerful than a mind that refuses to accept defeat. Think of water. It has no shape, no form, no boundaries. If you put it in a cup, it becomes the cup. If you pour it into the ocean, it becomes the ocean. If it faces a mountain, it does not stop. It carves through the rock until the mountain is gone. Be like water. Do not let anything stand in your way. You are capable of more than you can imagine. You have no limits, only obstacles, waiting to be crushed. Fear is the silent killer of potential. It whispers in your ear, planting doubt before you even begin. It makes you hesitate, second guess, and question yourself. Fear convinces you that you will fail, so you never even try. And in that hesitation, in that moment of doubt, your dream dies, not because you weren't capable, but because you allowed fear to stop you before you could even see your true strength. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is the teacher. Every mistake, every setback, every defeat is a lesson waiting to be learned. The only way to truly fail is to do nothing at all. But fear is different. Fear keeps you from even stepping onto the battlefield. Fear makes you surrender before the fight has even begun. I have seen many talented people fall, not because they lacked skill, but because they lacked the courage to push forward. They feared what others would say. They feared looking foolish. They feared the pain of failing. But I tell you this, the greatest pain is regret. The pain of knowing you could have done more, that you could have gone more, further, but you let fear hold you back. I did not fear failure. I feared standing still. I feared living a life of mediocrity. I feared never becoming the person I was meant to be. That is why I trained relentlessly, why I pushed myself beyond what others thought was possible. Is themed enemy of greatness. Many people wait. They say, I will try when I'm ready. I will move when the time is right, but the truth is, there is no perfect moment. The time is never just right. Act despite fear. You must move through fear. Is an illusion. It is not real. The danger may be real. The challenge may be real. But fear is only in your mind. And when you confront it, when you step forward despite its presence, it begins to disappear. Fear only controls those who submit to it. Think of the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was a fight. Maybe it was speaking in front of others. Maybe it was chasing a dream that felt impossible in that moment. Fear gripped you. Your heart pounded, your hands trembled. But when you did it anyway, something happened. The fear lost its power. You realized it was not as strong as you thought. This is how you must approach every challenge. Step into the unknown. Take the risk. Strike even when doubt lingers in your mind. Because the only way to truly know what you are capable of is to face the thing that scares you. The most I was told, Hollywood wasn't ready for an Asian lead. I was told my martial arts philosophy was wrong. I was told I would never make it if I had listened. If I had let fear dictate my actions, I would have faded into nothingness, but I refused. I created my own path. I kicked down the doors that were closed to me, and in doing so I turned fear into power. You can do the same. Fear is nothing but a test. It is a challenge asking, do you really want this? If your answer is yes, then move forward, no matter how afraid you feel. Let your actions be stronger than your doubts. Let your willpower be greater than your hesitation. Do not let fear steal your future. Do not let it kill your dream before it has a chance to live. Face it, fight through it, and prove to yourself that you are always stronger than you believed. Most people believe that success comes from simply working more hours, pushing harder, grinding without rest. But effort alone is not enough. The man who digs a hole for 12 hours is not closer to building a house than the man who carefully plans his foundation. Hard work without strategy is like running on a treadmill. You move a lot, but you go nowhere. If you want to rise above the rest, you must ask yourself, am I training the right way? Am I focusing on the right skills? Am I learning from my mistakes? Many waste years repeating the same mistakes because they never stop to analyze and refine their approach. Hard work should not be about endless repetition. It should be about constant improvement. I did not. Just to train, I trained with a goal in mind. Every punch had intention. Every kick was sharpened like a blade. I refined my movements until they were precise, powerful, and effortless. Most people practice until they get something right. I practiced until I could not get it wrong. I applied the same mindset. Beyond martial arts, I did not just memorize scripts for movies. I studied storytelling. I analyzed fight choreography. I mastered how to make action scenes look more realistic. That is why my films stood out, while others only saw acting. I saw an art form to be perfected if you want to separate yourself from the masses. Stop doing things mindlessly. Every action must serve a purpose. Every minute must bring you closer to your goal. Look around. How many people work tirelessly, but never improve? They grind for years, but never master their craft. They work hard, but they do not work smart. The difference between champions and amateurs is not just weaknesses. They ask, what can I refine? What can I optimize? Where can I improve? And then they take action. Many people are too stubborn to change. They believe that working harder is the only answer, but real power comes from working smarter, adjusting, evolving. A fool may keep hitting a wall, but a wise man will find a way around it, climb over it, or break it down in martial arts. I did not follow one tradition blindly. I tested, I experimented, I removed what was ineffective and kept what was powerful. This is how I created Jed Kadu, not by copying others, but by questioning everything and crafting something superior. This same philosophy applies to life. Do not do something just because it is what others do. Question it, test it, improve it. If there is a better way, adopt it. If something is not working, change it. If you only work hard but never evolve, you will be left behind. The greatest warriors are not just the strongest, they are the smartest, the sharpest, the most adaptable. That is why they win battles before they even begin. They see what others do not. Think 5 steps ahead. They do not waste time on distractions, on meaningless effort, on outdated methods. You must become that kind of warrior in everything you do. Train harder. Yes, but also train smarter. Learn faster than your competition. Adapt quicker. Cut away everything that does not serve you. Refine your skills until they are undeniable. Be relentless in your pursuit of improvement. Do this, and you will not just work harder than everyone. You will rise above them. Most people dream of making an impact, of leaving their mark. Yet they live in their mark. Yet they live in the shadows of hesitation. They lower their voices, hold back their talents, and wait for someone to give them permission to be great. But tell me, when has history ever remembered those who played it safe? When has the world ever bowed to those who stayed quiet, who blended in, who settled for being average? The truth is, the world does not remember those who go unnoticed. It does not celebrate the ones who waited for approval. It only acknowledges those who demand to be seen, those who walk into a room and command attention by their presence alone. You do not need to be the loudest person, but you must be the most impactful. Your skill must speak for itself. Your work ethic must leave others in awe. Your confidence must be so shakable that people feel it before you even say a word. There are millions of people with talent, but talent alone is worthless if no one knows you exist. The difference between those who are forgotten and those who leave. Legacy is how they present themselves to the world. They do not ask for opportunities. They do not wait to be noticed. They force the world to recognize them. When I walked into a room, I did not see approval. I owned my space when I moved. I moved with precision. When I spoke with conviction. Every action I took was done with intention, with certainty, with power, because I knew this. The moment you hesitate, the moment you doubt, the world will doubt you too. But when you carry yourself like a force, when you radiate confidence, the world has no choice but to believe in your presence. I didn't wait for Hollywood to welcome me. I proved that they could not succeed without me. I did not wait for martial artists to accept my philosophy. I revolutionized martial arts itself. I became a movement, not just a man. This is what you must do. Do not just participate, dominate. Do not just exist. Make an impact. Do not let anyone ignore your potential. If a door is closed, knock it down. If no one listens, make them hear you. If no one sees you become impossible to overlook, look at the greats. The true legends. Did Muhammad Ali wait for people to acknowledge his greatness number? He declared it before. They even believed it. Did Steve Jobs wait for permission to innovate number? He changed the world before anyone realized it needed changing. That is the level of confidence, action, and presence you must body. But this does not come from arrogance. It comes from knowing that you have put in the work. It comes from knowing that you have sharpened your craft to the highest level. It comes from knowing that you are meant for something greater. When you operate at that level, people will have no choice but to take notice. They will have no choice but to respect you, to acknowledge you, to remember you. You must decide today, will you be another name that fades into the background, or will you be a force that demands to be remembered? Life will never remain the same. The battlefield changes, the rules shift, and the competition evolves. If you do not grow with it, you will be left behind. The greatest mistake you can make is believing that what worked yesterday will still work tomorrow. Look at nature. The strongest creatures are not the biggest or the most powerful. They are the ones who can adapt. The tiger hunts in the jungle. The wolf dominates the snow. The eagle rules the sky. Each one survives because it adjusts to its environment. The ones who cannot change, they disappear. Many people fear stepping outside their comfort zone. They fear learning something new because it makes them feel like a beginner. Again, they resist change because it forces them to admit they are not perfect. But this fear is what keeps them small. This fear is what keeps them weak. Growth is painful, but staying the same is deadly. Every master was once student. Every champion was once a beginner. Every legend started at zero. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, not luck, not resources. It is adaptability, the ability to learn, to change, to improve, even when others stay the same. Do not be afraid to reinvent yourself. Do not be afraid to let go of old habits, old methods, and old ways of thinking. What once served you may now be holding you back. If you refuse to evolve, you will spend your life chasing a dream that was never meant to be achieved in the past. It was meant to be rebuilt for the future. When I first came to America, I thought my skill alone would be enough. But I quickly realized that skill without strategy is useless. The industry did not welcome me. They did not hand me a place. I had to adapt. I had to learn how to navigate their world while keeping my own identity strong. I had to evolve, not just as a fighter, but as a thinker, as a creator, as a force they could not ignore. If you want to win, you must outthink as much as you outwork. You must be faster, smarter, more flexible than those around you. You must see what others cannot. The man who fights with one strategy will lose to the man who fights a 100. The man who follows the rules will fall to the man who writes his own. Look at every challenge as a test of adaptation. If you are struggling, ask yourself, what must I change? If your training has stopped producing results, refine it. If your business is failing, innovate. If your mindset is weak, sharpen it. Nothing in life is permanent except the power of those who learn to evolve. The world belongs to those who refuse to stay the same. It belongs to those who embrace change, who master uncertainty, who use every experience as a stepping stone to something greater. That is how you conquer. Not by being the strongest, but by being the one who can never be broken. Be like fire consume everything that stands in your way. Be like the wind, flow through every obstacle. Be like water, take the shape of any challenge and overcome it. The rigid will break, the weak will fall, but the adaptable will rise above all. Do not just survive, dominate. Do not just exist, transformation. Do not just follow the path, create it. The world is yours to shape. The only question is, are you ready to evolve now? I ask you, are you ready to live by these principles? If so, stop waiting, stop hesitating. Become a force of nature, be like water, be like fire, be like Bruce.